Alright, so we got a mess going down in Miami with the Dolphins and the offensive line, and everybody's weighing in on this thing, talking about an unsafe work environment and bullying in the workplace. I just want to make a point that the NFL is not your average job. I happen to drive a truck for a living. The NFL is not like a trucking company. The Miami Dolphins are not like a trucking company. The NFL is not like the Department of Transportation. Whatever you do for a living, be you a doctor, a lawyer, a cook, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, whatever it is you do, the NFL is not like your job. And I get sick and tired of people just comparing this to any workplace. And, well, how would you like to put up with that in your workplace? Let me tell you something. If you work at McDonald's, you can be over there shaking the grease off the French fries. You don't have to worry about a Burger King employee coming through on your blind side, hitting you, tackling you. You fumble the French fries, and he runs over to Burger King and starts selling them. That's not the kind of workplace we're talking about here. But that does happen in the NFL. Now, granted, this took place in the locker room. And have I ever worked in a workplace environment, anything like that? As a matter of fact, I have. You see, I was a United States Marine. We used to haze each other. We used to harass each other, joke with each other, prank each other constantly when I was in the Marine Corps. And before I hit this, you were on the front line of a battlefield with an M16, this and that. We were cooks, folks. We weren't flipping grenades across enemy lines. We were flipping pancakes on the grill. Yet somehow, we managed to survive in this type of environment. Furthermore, boot camp was even worse. When you get to boot camp, you are informed that you are not a human being. You are the lowest form of life on the planet. And to reiterate this constantly throughout boot camp, you are not allowed to speak excuse me, you are not allowed to speak about yourself in the first person, to a Marine in the second person, or about a Marine in the third person. So, for example, if one drill instructor told you to tell another drill instructor something, you couldn't say, he told me to tell you. You would have to say, drill instructor such and such told this recruit to tell drill instructor so-and-so this and that. That is how that conversation would take place, to constantly remind you that you are not a human. You cannot just go up to another human and start talking. You had to request permission to speak before you could speak. This was a workplace environment. Now, granted, it was boot camp. It wasn't the NFL. I'm just trying to say, folks, I was 5 foot 8 inches tall, 125 pounds, and I was 18 years old. And somehow I managed to get through it. I'm not shedding a tear for Jonathan Martin, and I'm not trying to make light of bullying. Let's say he was getting bullied. If you are 12 years old, you're going to school, and you got a 13, 14-year-old that's twice your size picking on you, taking your lunch money, come talk to me about bullying. Then I care. If you happen to be 6'5", 350 pounds, physically fit, and an offensive lineman in the NFL, and you're getting bullied, I don't care. I just frankly don't care. But that having been said, I don't believe the story anyway, and I don't believe the story in part because of the way the information is coming out. Here's what happens. We have a transcript of a voicemail released that Richie Incognito left for Jonathan Martin. Then we get an interview with Jonathan Martin where he says, or an interview with Richie Incognito where he says, Jonathan Martin sent me a text saying, I will murder your whole effing family. Now we have the lawyer for Jonathan Martin who comes out and tweets a meme, a picture of a woman with a dog, and on this picture it says, I will murder your whole effing family. You decide. That's what he says on the tweet. You decide. Well, what do I decide? I mean, Richie Incognito saying he received it. You're saying Jonathan Martin sent it. What's left for me to decide? What? The context? Am I supposed to decide if this was a threat or if it was a joke between friends? Well, let's think this one through. I don't believe it was a threat. Richie Incognito said he doesn't think it was a threat. But in order for me to think it was a threat, that would depend on the nature of the relationship for the two. Let me give you an example. Let's just say, theoretically, hypothetically speaking, that Richie Incognito was bullying Jonathan Martin, and Jonathan Martin said, I've had enough. So he sends him a picture that says, I will murder your whole effing family. Then it might be a threat. Are you following me? This is the dumbest tweet in the history of dumb tweets. And all you have to do is go back a little further on this lawyer's feed to find another dumb tweet. He tweeted out that the weather was getting bad where he lives. Is there any athletes in Miami or Phoenix or LA who need some representation? Jonathan Martin is two of those three. I don't mean to make an accusation here because I don't know the situation, but did Jonathan Martin seek out a lawyer, or did this lawyer seek out Jonathan Martin, who works in Miami and lives in LA? These are two of the three places the guy said he wanted to go. I'm just saying. Now, back to the tweet of the meme. It's interesting to me that the lawyer tweets the meme so that I can see the exact message that was sent in the context that it was sent. Yet he releases a transcript of the voicemail and doesn't tweet out an audio file of the voicemail saying, here, listen to it. You decide. How come when it's something your side did, I need to get the actual message so that I can view it in the context in which it was sent, but when it's something the other side did, all of a sudden you want to control the flow of information? That to me is bogus and nonsense. Here's what I think happened. I think that Jonathan Martin was hazed and teased at work the same way everybody else was. At some point in time, Jonathan Martin started struggling with mental, psychological, emotional issues. As he himself said, he left the facility and checked into a mental health clinic. I think that at some point in time, and I'm not making an accusation here, folks, this is a really good lawyer, and I'm not trying to tick him off. I'm just saying, based on the tweet, I think at some point in time, this lawyer probably approached Jonathan Martin, because if you remember in Incognito's interview, he said that Jonathan Martin hit him up, or he hit up Jonathan Martin and said, where's this stuff coming from? And Jonathan Martin says, I'm not doing it. It's not me. So who was it? If Jonathan Martin had a laundry list of complaints, left the Dolphins, and found him a lawyer and said, here's my beef, right? Wouldn't he take credit for the information coming out? But what if Jonathan Martin left the Dolphins and a lawyer who was looking for a client in Miami or LA, which is Jonathan Martin, hit him up and said, hey, I can make some money for you here out of this, right? If that happened, and Jonathan Martin said, well, this did happen and that did happen, I don't know what I want to do yet, the lawyer jumps the gun and throws it out there, that would explain this situation. I'm not making accusations. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. There's enough smoke there for me to think that perhaps there's a little bit of fire. What I think happened is that Jonathan Martin was hazed and hazed. That Jonathan Martin was pranked and pranked. That things were said to him and that he said things to others. And when his personal mental health issues got out of hand and he went to seek help, I think he got exploited by a lawyer. Do I feel bad for him? No, I'm not saying exploited like, oh, poor Jonathan. I'm just saying that I think a lawyer stepped in and got this thing into the position where we have people like Sage Rosenthal's, former Miami Dolphin, weighing in on how bad Jeff Ireland is. Sage, it's not like when you came to Miami, any Miami Dolphins fans was sitting here saying like, hey, everything's better now, Sage Rosenthal's is here. It's not that way. Dan Marino, Don Shula, and Jason Taylor are on a team that's going to be investigating. When they're done, they can come talk to me. I'll listen. Hell, Mark Clayton and Mark Duper and Mark Ingram on a day pass from prison could come talk to me about what's going on. And I'd listen to them. Manny Fernandez, Nick Bonacani, Garo freaking Yepremian could come and talk to me, and I'd listen to them before I'd listen to Sage Rosenthal's. He's named after a spice, and it's not even a good spice. It's not allspice, it's not paprika. Hell, you could find some random dude named Turmeric Wasabi, and I'd listen to him before I'd listen to Sage Rosenthal's. But I'd listen to Sage before I'd listen to Tom Brady. Pot. Meat kettle. We got Tom Brady talking about the Miami Dolphins. Are you serious? Mr. Tom Shady Spygate Brady? Shirtless Bill Belichick's running a paragon of virtue up there in New England all of a sudden? At least let the dust settle on Aaron Hernandez's empty locker. Last time I checked, your locker room is so screwed up there in New England that when the Dolphins went to play, some of the slime from your locker room made it over to the visitors' locker room, and 2 state troopers served Mike Pouncey with a subpoena to appear in court to testify about the mess in your freaking locker room. And the Patriots, Tom Brady's going to come to me like, shirtless Bill Belichick would never allow this. Yeah, Spygate Belichick, I'm supposed to look up to all of a sudden. Let's get real here, folks. The bottom line on this one is, it's a non-story that got blown out of proportion.